All right, so in this video, we are going to be doing a brief overview of our functional groups. Okay, so with our functional groups, what we are going to see is a change in our bonding pattern, which means this is going to change the geometry of the molecule. We may see molecules that have multiple bonds, so double and triple bonds. We may see a heteroatom bonded to a carbon. And what this means is it will be something other than a hydrogen. So typically it would be halogen like chlorine, fluorine. It might be an oxygen, it might be a nitrogen. The placement of the functional group creates what we call an organic family. This determines the name of the compound and it allows us to predict the properties of that compound. All right, so with every functional group, we are going to focus on their physical properties. We're going to be looking at the phase change, melting and boiling. We'll be taking a look at solubility, what kinds of solvents do these compounds dissolve in, and then the last one we'll be taking a look at is volatility. And just as a refresher, this is how easily it is for a compound to evaporate. So if something evaporates very easily, we would say it is volatile. All right, so what we're going to be looking at is the polarity. So if something is nonpolar, the only intermolecular force it is going to have will be dispersion forces. If it is polar, it'll either have dipole-dipole interactions or hydrogen bonding. Remember that hydrogen bonding is going to happen if you have a compound where you have a hydrogen bonded to an oxygen, hydrogen bonded to a nitrogen, or a hydrogen bonded to a fluorine. Okay. All right, so when we're looking at these physical properties and we're looking at the polarity and the intermolecular forces, something that only has dispersion forces is going to see low temperature transitions. So this means it's going to have low melting and boiling points. Dipole-dipole interactions will have a higher temperature transition, and then hydrogen bonding will have the highest temperature transition in general. When we are looking at solubility, that rule, like dissolves like, right? So nonpolar substances will dissolve in nonpolar solvents. So if something only has dispersion forces and is nonpolar, it will only dissolve in nonpolar solvents and will not dissolve in polar solvents like water. When we start to talk about compounds that contain dipole-dipole interactions and hydrogen bonding, these substances are going to be more likely to dissolve in polar solvents like water and not be dissolvable in nonpolar solvents. And then lastly is volatility. If your compound only contains dispersion forces, that is going to be very easy for it to evaporate, so it'll tend to be volatile. And then as we move through dipole-dipole and up through hydrogen bonding, those substances will become less and less volatile. We get to a point where those compounds are non-volatile. Okay, so the very last thing we will be looking at are chemical properties. And I don't want you to stress too much about these reactions right now. As we move through the semester and as we're talking about these different functional groups, we'll break these reactions down for you so you can see exactly what they look like. But ultimately, these are the reactions we're going to see on rinse and repeat over the course of the semester. There are very few times where I'm like, chemists did a good job in naming these, because the name of the reaction literally tells you exactly what's happening. All right, so the first type we have is addition, and you guessed it, we are adding atoms onto something. For these addition reactions, you are going to see these as halogenation. These are going to happen on unsaturated compounds. Hydrohalogenation, this is a reduction. Hydrohalogenation and hydration. Substitution, this is a replacement. So again, we're going to see halogenation. This is going to happen on saturated hydrocarbons. Elimination, you guessed it, removing atoms. This will be things like dehydration or condensation. You'll see this as esterification and amidation. You may see oxidation. This is going to be, now this is a little bit different. than the redox reactions we looked at previously in the first semester. For oxidation in organic compounds, what we are looking at is an increase in the number of carbon-oxygen bonds while decreasing the number of carbon-hydrogen bonds. And then lastly, we have hydrolysis, and here's where we're using water to break functional groups apart. So again, don't stress about these. You should take notes on these. But like I said, as we move through the semester, we'll talk in detail about all of these types of reactions.